Hey guys, Jacob, Black Foresight Gaming here. Just coming at you with a quick little kind of brief explanation of what you're about to watch. So we tried something new with a battle report. We went with a very large scale game on a very large scale table, something that we haven't done before. And we didn't really have the appropriate amount of time we needed to finish the game. We tried doing a turn recap instead of our usual phase by phase recaps / showcase. So it may not be the kind of video you're used to, but we were trying something new, so we hope you enjoy. It's a scenario loosely based on Operation Luttich from August of 1944, featuring a German counterattack against an American assault during Operation Cobra. I did write my own scenario for this. I will try and have the write-up in the description below. Like I do mention a few times for the video, it was going to be there, and I can't seem to find the file where I wrote it up, so I do apologize for that. It should be talked about on our Discord a little bit, and I will try and piece it together from there. So, thanks for watching, guys, and we hope you enjoy. This will hopefully be the launch of some regular content going forward for us. And if not, well, I do apologize, but just want to say happy holidays and a very Merry Christmas. Take care.
All right, and here we are set up with a 5-foot by about 12-foot table, loosely representing the area fought over during the German counterattack of Operation Luttich. Yes, we're taking some toys off the table that aren't part of my army. As much as I'd love some king tigers, we couldn't find historical evidence that there were king tigers involved here. So we have the town here representing the town of Mortain with a couple of different roads meeting it to make a primary objective. On the left flank of the town, we have a hill, I believe it's Hill 310 is what we're representing it as, where the Americans were dug in on. And then on the right flank, we have Bocage country, as the Americans were trying to finally break out of Bocage country, and the Germans are counterattacking there. So this will be a roughly 340-point game with Americans on the back foot at the start. We're going to have some different objectives in play. We're going to have an objective on the hill, one in the town, and one in the Bocage. And then each player will place an objective in the deployment zone. Each turn will score points for holding objectives, 1 point for the objective in the player's controlment zone. 2 points for any objectives controlled along the center line of the table, which are the 3 primary objectives, and 3 points if you can score and hold the enemy's deployment zone objective. We'll play the rounds up to 12 or until total annihilation, and we'll see how it goes from there. We very much hope you enjoy what is probably about to be a very long, very slugfest annihilation match. All right, let's take a closer look at the armies. 4 divisions of Germans desperately attempting to counterattack against the Americans. What do we got? We have a Waffen-SS Panzer IV company with 3 platoons of 4 Panzer IVs, an HQ of 2 Panzer IVs, a battery of 4 Stugs, and I can't remember what they are, but they're 2cm AA guns. We have a Waffen-SS Reconnaissance company with 2 reconnaissance platoons and 1 armored Panzer Grenadier platoon, HQ, all the Panzerfausts, and then 2 2cm SDKFZ scout troops, 2 Puma troops, and 3 mortar half-tracks. In support of the Waffen-SS, we have an SDKFZ 222 and 221 troop. For the Wehrmacht, we have a Panzer Grenadier company with 2 platoons of Panzer Grenadiers, 1 platoon of armored Panzer Grenadiers, HQ, 2 7.5cm infantry guns, 4 MGs, missing 1 truck, and a pair of 8cm mortars. And then a Panther company with 3 platoons of 3 Panthers, 1 HQ, and 4 self-propelled quad 2cm, I think. I can't remember what they're called either. In support, we have a battery of 3 Vesps, a Panzer III OP, Puma 2cm troops, 2 of them, which the AB-41s are pretending to be, a battery of 3 Nebelwerfers, and 3 Marder tank hunters. And that will be today's German force. Let's take a look at the Americans.
All right, first off, we've got 4 full companies as well. We have our armored rifles. Everything here is the veteran variants because we were really trying to push it. So we have 4 full veteran armored rifles with their HQ. They also have the MG and the 57 in their tracks. Then second company here, we have a veteran Sherman, 1 platoon of their 76s, 2 of their 75s, a 105 assault battery, and some armored mortars. The next is the Stuarts with their HQ, 2 platoons of Stuarts, 1 of 75 Shermans, and a battery of Scots. The third, or the fourth at this point, is it's under strength, but an M10. These are desert veterans. They have their HQ, a platoon of 4, an under strength platoon of 2, and 1 M20 security section. And then for divisional support, we have pretty much the entire breadth of the American divisional equipment. We have an M8 Recon at full strength. We have a full strength AAA platoon. We have towed 3-inch tank destroyers. We have the mighty 155 mil M12s.
Those are scary.
We have our Priest battery. We also have an attached rifle platoon. These are just veteran rifles that would be accompanying. And then we have our Typhoons and an AOP. Second flight is actually just a scenario flight of additional Typhoons, because this battle in particular had broken the German Enigma and had a significant amount of Air Force called in ahead of their advance.
All right, let's go look at deployment. All right, here we are after deployments. So, as part of the scenario, 10% of Ben's force could deploy within 6 inches with the spearhead of either objective in the hill and or the village to represent the forward American defenders that were left there during the operation. So he elected to deploy mostly on the hill with his new anti-tank guns and a rifle platoon and a security section. And then he got to deploy 50% of his force next. So there you have it, arrayed along the line with a spearhead into the village to try and block it from me. Then I deployed up to 80% of my force, starting with the spearhead on that left flank to get some troops over there to hold that objective. I got the artillery holding that field, a naval of air force holding my home objective, and some recon elements there on the road. The majority of my forces have deployed to try and push into the village to take it. Panzer IVs supporting the, SS Panzer IVs supporting the Wehrmacht or Panzer Grenadiers, with the recon SS over on the right flank as well. So that will be our deployments. It's August 1944 in Normandy, and the Germans are attempting to counterattack against Operation Cobra. Let's see how this goes. We'll be back with a turn 1 recap. Okay, here we are at the end of turn 1, and the Wehrmacht and SS forces have advanced aggressively, taking objectives on the farmhouse there and putting pressure on the village and the hill. But stoic American defense has left them holding that objective securely, despite being Nebelwerfer, vest, and infantry gun with only 1 casualty. And over here, the village itself has become a war-torn skirmish. Lots of machine gun fire, lots of bazooka fire, pinning out, or bailing out several of my Panzer IVs. Amazingly, the Stugs took 4 shots from the M10s and completely survived with no hits. And unfortunately,
also took 4.
Only bailing out.
Failing a miraculous 85% of all firepower tests in the turn.
The Austere OP came in and called in battery fire from the 155s on the Panzers, succeeding in doing not much, despite that Puma 2cm being bailed out by some cheeky side shots from the 50 cals. Good play on that. Over here, a Typhoon's flight swooped in and actually did surprising amount of damage, forcing a last damage test here at the start of turn 2 on my scout section, taking out a Martyr and bailing out 2 of my half-tracks. Yeah, so that's how the table is looking going into start of German turn 2. All right, here we are at the end of turn 2. Unfortunately, already running out of time on today. So let's see how much farther we can get. Over here, the SS attempted to push the objective and got murked by a 50 cal. Their half-track swung around to provide machine gun support, unfortunately failing to dig out any of these infantry, and return fire murdered a bunch of them. The scout cars unfortunately also died here. I lost 1 infantry gun to return artillery fire. Over here, my scout cars, my brave scout cars, weathering a storm of 50 cal fire and bazookas, whittled down to 2 bailed out tanks. In the village, things are going a little bit better. We lost a couple of teams in the middle from some late artillery pounding me there, but feeling good. We've almost secured the objective. Only a single half-track at the moment is holding me back from scoring. My SS panzers are taking the brunt of the force power coming at us, but still managing to push through, counting on some Panther support coming up. And the Panzer IVs over here maybe finally swinging around, but we did lose a platoon to some vicious M10 fire, who then fell back. And the other M10s there that blitzed forward. Over here, nothing else really happened. Ben attempted to bring his Typhoons in to attack my Nebelwerfers, but unfortunately they failed to range in this turn. So we are now at 8 points for Ben to my 6. What'd you say?
It is 8-6.
8-6. So pretty tie game so far, even though it is only turn 2. So let's see what happens at the end of turn 3. Okay, end of turn 3. Germans are really starting to run out of forces. I was thrown back in my assault over here, losing another couple of teams, and then got fired on in this turn. These half-tracks are still doing okay, but not able to shift any of the enemy troops there. Over here, between a lot of machine gun fire and a successful assault, Ben pushed my SS recon platoon completely out of the building there, and has whittled down both Panzer Grenadier platoons here by a large amount. Over here, Ben's Sherman 76s came on, and between them and the M10s, almost completely destroyed my Panzer IV company. And the Typhoons swept in, bailed out a Martyr, and killed a Panther. So, probably going to be the end of the game here after this next turn, but we'll see what we can do. All right, here we are at the end of turn 4. My counter assault, unfortunately, has been seriously blunted. So we're going to call it here, plus we're at time on our room rental here. So on this flank, not too much extra happened, just most of the half-tracks that were left got shot up. Over here, the Panzer IV company was murdered completely. I've already moved one. The Stokes were finished off by the Sherman 76s.
Literally just the command tank was by himself. So
So that formation breaks. The Typhoon swept in, got some decent shots off, but unfortunately failed to kill anything because I rolled some decent rolls. And Ben's in some good counter assault territory. He's probably going to push me off that point, securing it for him to get an extra 5 points this turn to my 2. Okay, and then so like as you can see, like I'm seriously outmanned now.
Finally pushed back out of the town. The infantry has advanced over the buildings and to surround the church. The Shermans have moved up. These Shermans were supposed to come on this turn and really aren't even necessary. It would be column after column of Shermans.
Yeah, and he's still got all that over there on the
other
table.
Objectives, either pushing through town to the Neb's objective or fighting a couple outnumbered Panthers.
So apparently this was even pointed matches, but the Americans have superior troops in both quality of training and careful raiding. And I am severely outnumbered and unable to do much because my Panther company is a good third of my army and wasn't able to participate in the battle.
A full half of mine is still on the side, but it was a reversal of being cautious to your aggressive, which is unknown.
Apparently just impossible. So we'll be back with a debrief. All right, well, that was an interesting fight. My first attempt at writing a scenario. I definitely think I gave the Yanks too much of a starting advantage.
No, the scenario itself was okay.
Dude, you started on an objective and on an objective.
Arguably, we both started on those ones and never really... You actually were close to pushing me off.
On that.
You had good assaults.
That wasn't close at all.
You got unlucky, or you would have pushed those infantry off twice.
If I had good assaults, they would have pushed those infantry off.
They were well-positioned assaults that you got unlucky of. I got exactly the 5 to stop you.
Assaults never work for me, and they always seem to work for you, which I
do
don't
love
understand.
assaults.
Like,
Everybody on the channel knows I love assaults. But
anyway,
this is what you set them up well.
Well, yes, okay. The scenario
set them
itself,
up great.
but I think the Germans should have gotten a points advantage. Honestly, I think that would have helped.
Maybe, but
Guys,
again, a lot of
the defender, because when you look at the battlefront attack and defending scenarios, it's always like a 50% defender with 15 to 20%.
Now, I mean, in a way, almost. You kind of did have a points advantage because we didn't get to go enough turns to bring in all the reserves. So really only about half of my army contributed. The 76s were the only reserve that's come on.
Yes, and we saw how that worked.
Yeah, it did good. It did good. Honestly, you know what? It was Bazooka House. If I had to pick one thing. Rolling up the armored rifle and leaping 5 bazookas and then having the Panzer IV company being just outside the windows.
So can we agree then?
Stay at
Armored
7, 8
rifles are absurdly low priced for what they bring to the table.
Those are, well, the veteran ones here are 19 points. And there was a lot of early games where I sucked at using them. It's a trick to use the mix and everything.
Panzerfaust Recon MG is at like 14 points.
Yeah.
And arguably you got a crap ton more guns. Anyways, not to
I love my armor rifles. And I've learned quite how to use them pretty well.
Yeah, so that was that was my first.
My artillery.
No, artillery. It's your 60 mils are always the thing.
My big guns, I was all happy, and then they didn't really do much. The Typhoons contributed.
Yes,
it's the first time we've had planes contribute. I'm actually kind of. They didn't wipe stuff out, but they definitely like hit little small pockets.
Yeah, no, they did good work. Especially that first round on the left flank there.
The first round,
against scout cars and stuff. That was potent. But yeah, so that was my first attempt at writing an actual scenario. So I'll put it down below. A couple of things I think I would change, either not having the Americans start on the objectives or having the Germans start with 100% of their force on the table, because I feel like that's really what hampered. I had over a third of my army, just points-wise, sitting unable to actually participate until the last turn that we played. Well, that and actually planning to have enough time to finish the game.
Well, yeah, this is also the first time we've played one that's quite significant.
Yeah.
One, we either need to set it up on a time or a location where we're going to have the 2 days. One is...
No, we can do it in one day.
You know what, we need to play it probably at about 200 points, maybe 250.
No, I still think 350 to 500 or 400 is a good amount for this size of table.
Too unwieldy, I think, and...
Well, you just need
the
to play an army that
we do end up with.
points.
I don't like having significant portions of the table that feel unused.
Well, then maneuver more.
Amounts.
Stop pushing all your stuff into one block.
You put an objective, and I pushed at the objective.
Anyways, we're bickering. Don't mind. Again, the scenario
what you've seen
will be in the description box below. Please give us your comments and suggestions on what we could change to make it better. And yes, as Ben said, hopefully you've enjoyed. I am hoping to do a couple more of these over the Christmas holidays. I would love to do a Kursk and or bagration themed game, and also maybe a filet gap so we can actually break out the British and I can use my Western Front King daggers. Because and
he did want some heavy tanks that just never fought the Americans.
We should do the bulge so that I actually can use all the stuff that I like.
Actually, I do still have some of the collection that is obviously bulge specific units.
Calliopes yet, have you?
They're finished. I just have never used them.
Okay, well,
same with the Pershing,
we'll
the late Sherman. So I do have a bulge set.
Battle of the Lorraine. That's what we need to do because that was one of the biggest tank battles that had a lot of heavy armor on the German side versus a lot of heavy armor on the American side.
I think maybe an infantry engagement is just fine. I don't know what all these people are always loving
enough infantry to do that.
I do. I just got to paint more. I got a whole other rifle company.
All right. Tell you what. I'll do Feston Gros Paris, and I'll bring some Calgavat mortars, and then you can bring your infantry.
I always do.
Yeah, against 400mm salvo templates.
I don't like salvo templates.
They need to be better. They need to be stronger. I need to get.
I was worried I was going to have the AT guns. Poor little 3-inch guns got their first debut today.
Yeah, no, I was neat to see. Unfortunately, I did not give them any meaty targets, because why would I? But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, guys. I know this is going to be a super short video compared to what you're used to, but if I'd done what I normally do and go turn by turn, phase by phase, this would probably be like a 4-hour video. I don't want us to watch that. So we'll pull up and figure out a schedule for doing some more filming over the holidays, so we'll go back to 2 videos a month, minimum. And I gotta try and figure out doing this a couple more games because I want to do some bigger games, some showcase stuff, get a lot of things out on the table and just have a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like us on Facebook, Discord. Also, we have a Patreon if you want to support us. And you know, we're pulling for you. Just keep your sticks on the ice.
Take care out there.